If you're looking to achieve consistency in LSAT logical reasoning, this one's for you. Got an email from Zoe, who's a sophomore looking to improve her consistency in logical reasoning. She writes, I'm aiming for a top law school with a target LSAT score of 170 plus. My LSAT is scheduled for June. After 4 months of prep using online resources and study groups, I'm currently scoring around 162. My performance in logical reasoning varies significantly. How can I achieve more consistent results in this section? I'll get to the question on consistency in just a moment, but I want to address the fact that you're a sophomore. You're really ahead of the curve here. I'm curious why you're taking the LSAT so early in your law school journey. Are you aiming to do a 3-in-3 program? For those who aren't aware, some law schools have partnerships with undergrad institutions where you do 3 years of undergrad and then directly go to law school for the remaining 3 years. So in other words, you shave off 1 year of undergrad. And so applying to these programs would, of course, require you to take the LSAT a little bit earlier than you otherwise would. So Zoe, if that's the case for you, fantastic, stay the course. If that's not the case for you, however, you may want to give yourself a bit more time and focus more on undergrad for now, getting the highest GPA possible. You could take the LSAT in a year or more, and you'd still be totally on schedule with your applications. Maybe you're taking it in June, I'm guessing, because you want to take it with the logic game section. And the fact that you're asking about logical reasoning suggests that maybe games is already good for you. If so, great. Get the LSAT done now, of course, before they remove the logic game section. For those who aren't aware, they're removing games after June and replacing it with a second scored logical reasoning section. So Zoe, if you're taking the LSAT before the change, then of course logical reasoning will be just about 1/3 of the LSAT. If you wait till August or beyond, it'll be 2/3. So of course, any gains you make in LR will be doubled. But if you're struggling there right now, of course, I can understand why you want to get it done before the change. Now, the fact you've prepped with both online resources and study groups is great. Study groups can be really helpful in order to give you a sense of community, camaraderie, that you're not going through it alone. Online resources can also be helpful, but I'm curious which ones you've been using. If it's just free ones or you've been taking a course of some kind, if you haven't, you might want to check one out. At LSAT Unplugged, for example, we offer live online classes via Zoom oriented around those aiming to score 170 plus. We also offer on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. You can check out the links below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now, regarding the question about consistency in logical reasoning, score fluctuations are totally normal. In fact, I've never met a student whose score did not fluctuate. That being said, of course, we always want to get your score as high as possible. So I'd want to look at what is your approach to the section currently. Are you approaching the questions in order? Are you skipping around? For those who don't know, logical reasoning questions are presented in a general order of difficulty, meaning they get tougher as the section goes on. So I'm curious, how are you allocating your time over the course of the section? Are you going at a steady pace, or are you doing the easier ones faster, building up a time bank that you can then apply to the tougher questions later in the section? That is, of course, what I would recommend given the variation in difficulty. Are you getting bogged down or stuck on questions where you shouldn't be getting bogged down? You should know that you can flag questions, skip them, and come back to them later. I recommend doing this so you don't fall into quicksand where the time is running and you're not gaining any progress. And of course, since every question is worth the same, there's no reason to spend inordinate time on any specific question in the section. They're all worth the same. The online LSAT also has a flagging function built into it, so you can easily flag a question, skip it, then see at a glance later which ones you're going to want to go back to after you've completed the section. And the most difficult questions, by the way, are questions roughly 15 through 23 within the section. The last couple are a little bit easier, in fact, so of course you don't want to run out of time before ever making it to those, which of course would be a little bit easier. Now, there are roughly 15 types of questions in LSAT logical reasoning. They don't all appear with equal frequency, however. So maybe there's a question type that you're not especially strong on that shows up more often in some sections than in others. Now, of course, must be true, flaw, and necessary assumption questions are all incredibly common, but there are some relatively less common types like sufficient assumption, some of which are formal logic, some of which are not so formal logic. You also have evaluate the argument, which comes up every now and then. So you might want to make sure that you're solid on the less common logical reasoning question types as well, so that you're well equipped to handle them whenever they show up. Even if they don't show up every single exam, of course, you want to make sure that you're good on those, since, of course, that will reduce the fluctuations in your score. Now, finally, a quick comment on 3-in-3 programs where you do undergrad and law school in a total of 6 years. 3 for undergrad, 3 for law school. These can be great to give you the security of knowing that you're into law school and you're secured, but of course they will significantly reduce your negotiation leverage for getting financial aid. So I recommend, if you can avoid doing that, avoid it. Of course, you'll save a year, but you could also just aim to graduate undergrad as fast as possible, load up on credits, and then you'll have many more options for where you want to go to law school, and of course, getting scholarship offers as well for merit aid. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to see it. I don't do any advertising. I rely only on word of mouth, and your spreading the word really does make a difference. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.